What is the problem with having sex in a relationship before marriage?
Oh, it messes your head up. So there's a couple aspects to that. One is it literally does impair your ability to make healthy decisions. Eh, Almost everybody would admit I stayed in a relationship longer than I should have. And I can't quite explain to you why I did. I knew it wasn't going to work. I knew it wasn't the one. And 6 months later, I'm still there trying to make it work. And what they don't realize is the physical intimacy brought a sense of responsibility mentally that I have to help this person through whatever they're struggling with or help them accomplish this goal or whatever. And it blinds your judgment of red flags, yellow flags. It delays the exit parachute because you're more committed than you ought to be.
Gosh, it clouds your judgment so much when you create that chemical bonding, that sexual intimacy. And something that I think about is if you're in a relationship or you're dating someone, if you weren't having sex with them, would you want to spend 10 years with them, 20 years with them if there was no sex?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy their company, their conversation? Do you have the similar values? Are you going in the same direction? And would you want to be with them if that wasn't there, if that was off the table? A lot of people wouldn't.
And it's one of the, that's going to sound bad, it's one of the most shallow levels to pick a partner off of. Because, we have great intimacy. Yeah, but, that could be true with a litany of people. We have great conversation. That narrows the list. Man, we have shared vision and dreams. Oh, that even narrows the list. Man, when I'm around them, they replenish me and they build. There are a lot deeper levels to make decisions on than just, sexual compatibility or whatever it may be. But once you start there, you get stuck there and it's harder to evaluate someone at any other level. They're not gonna like to hear that.
No, they don't want to hear that, man. Especially in the modern world, people don't want to think about not having sex before marriage because it seems like, what's the point?
The other thing is, it puts you in a position, because it is my belief that we were made by God for sex. So it puts you in the position to make a decision faster. When I could date you for 5 years, I could date you for 10 years because there's no physical urgency that is driving me to make a decision.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean it makes us decide faster?
I think
If we're having it or not having it?
if we are not having it.
Because then we're like,
Because it is
we
a
want it.
godly desire. it is a godly desire. It is an outlet of stress, all that other kind of stuff. So when I don't have it, it's like, okay, I've got to figure out how can I put myself in a position where that's a part of my life. And if marriage is the only option for me, then I'm going to be a lot more intentional about getting to marriage faster. So I'm not going to date people that I know are not marriage material.
Interesting.
I'm not going to stay in a relationship that I know is not heading towards marriage. I will have a lot higher standards. Can I say it this way? When I want to have sex. And
Sure.
I've relegated it to marriage.
That's interesting. So if men or women take sex off the table, how much happier do you think they would be in the dating phase or in the relationship phase before marriage?
Well, here's what I will say. It depends on what else is on the table. Because just like God is not the totality of every relationship, sex is not either. So if you take sex off the table, but you still can't communicate, you still don't have clear vision, there's not going to be much joy there.
Right.
But if you are taking sex off the table because you're making a decision, I'm going to be intentional about this entire process, I am telling you, you will have greater joy and you will have greater success in the long run.
So for a lot of people who are watching or listening, they probably have struggled in relationships and they're not sure on how to make theirs the best possible they can right now. Or maybe they're going through a challenge right now. And it seems like we've got single phase, dating phase, committed dating phase, and then a choice to be married and committed, hopefully long-term phase. And then marriage, right? What would be the step-by-step process then from being single to getting into a relationship that will lead to a beautiful, loving marriage?
I will say this, you've got to do the visionary work when you're single before you bring anybody into the picture.
What does that look like?
So my children, I got 3 kids, 8, 6, and 3. And our new obsession is puzzles. So we'll build 1,000-piece, 5,000-piece puzzle or whatever. And if you ever built a puzzle, you know the picture is on the cover of the box.
Yeah.
And then all of your time is just trying to create the picture that you see. A lot of people go into dating and they've never established a picture of marriage that they want to build. So you've got to start with, what is my end destination? Where do I want to go? Do you remember back in the day before there was GPS and you had to go on a computer and punch your directions in and all that? It says
MapQuest or whatever.
all that other good stuff. What's your current location and what's your final destination? And let me give you some final destination questions. Not just, I want to be married, but what do I want our life to look like financially? What do I want our life to look like romantically? What do I want our life to look like with communication and all that? Now that I've got a picture, and it can't be too specific that only one person on the globe can fit into this picture. But man, a woman or a man, they can fit into that picture. Now I'm out just looking for who's the person that can fit into the picture that I have. So that's step 1. You got to have a vision. Step 2 is, don't waste your time with anybody who can't fit into that picture. Be intentional. But in the beginning, exchange numbers, we go out on a date, whatever it may be. We've decided we're going to date and be exclusive. It is so important that first season. And if you ask me, I'll give you a timeline. If you don't, I won't push it.
What's the timeline?
I say this, no shorter than 12 weeks and not much longer than 8 months.
In terms of what, just dating, the dating phase?
Of just having fun.
Oh, really?
And what I find is some people, they get too heavy too soon. So it's like the first date. How many kids you want to have?
Oh, wow.
What's your credit score? What's your idea of wealth? And it's just like, I don't even know you. And I don't even know if I like you. Let's just enjoy life, because friendship is one of the greatest foundations of any healthy marriage.
But what if, I want to push back and ask you about this. What if, man, you can have fun with this person, but you haven't asked the tough questions until 3, 6, 8 months in, and you realize, oh, our values are not aligned. Like, we can go out and have great dinner and go bowling and go travel, and man, we have great conversation and same interests, but oh, they actually don't want kids. Oh, they're actually in debt $100,000, and that scares me. Oh, actually, they don't want to.
That debt thing.
Oh, they actually don't want to, raise our kids in this way. They, their in-laws are so intertwined in the relationship that it's too, whatever it is, how can we ask questions that make sure they fit the picture without interrogating them too much?
So let me go out on a limb. What is in a person's heart will come out their mouth. It is impossible for what is in your heart not to come out of your mouth. So in that, yes, you're having fun, but you're observing.
Yes.
You're watching. Hold on. We've been together for 6 months. You've never even mentioned your parents. Like that, that's going to be very obvious. Hey, we've been hanging out for 4 months. You've never introduced me to your friends. Without interrogating them, if you're paying attention, you may not know if they want to have kids or not. I'm going to get in trouble. But if that's the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, that may not be a deal breaker once you fall in love with them.
Interesting. Or they may say, I want to have a kid with you.
Yeah, and they may change their opinion.
You know what's interesting? There was, as I reflect back on all the challenging relationships that didn't work out, but that taught me beautiful lessons.
Yeah.
I don't blame any of these individuals. I was equally a part of them. There's something, you asked me before we started the conversation, and you said something around the fact of like, how did you know she was the one for me? Martha. And I didn't really give you the clearest answer, but I knew she could be the one when I realized she was resourceful enough to take care of our future kids if we had them and something happened to me where I died. Or I was no longer able to provide. I trusted that she was a resourceful woman, that she was a spiritual woman, that she was able to do things where she could provide and value in so many other ways to children if we decided to have them, and if we decided to get married, all these different things, a few months in.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, this is a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was always dating girls.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I felt like I had to rescue or they weren't resourceful, but this person I can trust with my kids.
Yeah.
And that made me feel like, oh, this is, maybe she's not the one, but she could be the one. Yeah. It was like a feeling.
This conversation, it might end a few relationships. Hopefully it starts some too. I was dating this girl. I was actually in high school at the time. And I was dating this girl and my mom just couldn't stand her.
Ooh.
But my mom knew I was stubborn enough that if she told me, I'd have studied and stayed in it a lot longer. And she said something along the lines of, she said two things. She said, one, Stephen, I'm pretty much the same girl I was when I was 16. And she's like 54 at the time. She said, I've matured and all that, but my personality is this. What she was saying is, Stephen, you're waiting for this girl to change. And she's not going to change. The other thing she said is, pick somebody that you wouldn't mind raising your children. Which is kind of like what you just said.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind raising them. Yeah, yeah.
Listen, a lot of us will stay in a toxic relationship because we're like, I can handle it. It's what it look crazy, but I can deal with it and all. But then when you kind of step back and you do what you said, if I wasn't here, is this who I want my daughter to become like? Is this who I want my son to become like? Is their values what I want to shape the legacy of my? All of a sudden, you begin to narrow that and say, no. Or, and this is for some of the people that are watching this conversation, there's a good friend that you've kept in the friend zone for a long time. And if you were to take a step back and you'd realize this is the type of person that has the values that I want my family to have. And maybe you're overlooking someone that you shouldn't be.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.